Okay. I'm going to be juggling a couple of things this class just so that we can record this for someone that can't be here and who is following on Zoom. Really pretty simple day today. We're going to go through, I'm going to talk a little bit about Twitter just in general. I'm going to, we're going to talk about web pages. You guys are going to do a little bit of research on your own, looking at some web pages, teacher web pages, and then we'll talk about them up here on the board. And then you guys are going to start your web page actually today. We're going to watch this video. It takes about 5 minutes, and we'll go through the. There's a gentleman on the video, and he kind of takes you step by step on getting started. And we'll watch the video and pause it, and watch the video and pause it, and you guys will do it as we're sitting here. How many people don't have a computer with them right now? Okay, I'll get the Chromebooks opened up here in just a second. You'll be able to grab one of those and get on those. Hopefully they have them fixed and that you guys can get on the internet. We had problems with them the other day. So, but it's really pretty simple to get your web page started. This is actually the stuff that you'll be making, or the pages that you'll be making. And then we'll talk about your assignments, including this resources page, which is going to have a little bit more specifics to it. Let's see. Okay. So with Twitter, a couple things I want to show you. I haven't actually looked recently. A little busy. Nope, that's not what I want. So these are the William Penn Ed tweets. I asked you guys to give us oh, you guys can't see them. Makes it hard for you guys to follow along, right? No, I can hear it in class. Yeah, I asked you to last week. I asked you guys to tweet again for this week, which there's some missing tweets. So you're going to tweet every week. So you want to be conscious of that. So there probably isn't much new in that time since nobody really did. So you'll want to get on there and get some things posted. I think I showed these last week, some good quotes and things that were on there, some good retweets with some good content on them. And that's the same thing that I asked for you to do from last week. So if people can get on there and do that here this week, and then we'll do another one for next week. So you really kind of owe 2 here. So if you can do that to get caught up, that would be great. I wanted to talk about this. The school rubric site is fairly new. If you go to their webpage, it's fairly new. But they reached out and said, we're reaching out to see if you might be interested in collaborating with us on an article, webinar, interview. We work with leading voices in the field, such as yourself, and would love to connect with you. Just discuss further if you have any interest. So that was something that was sent to me. It was also sent to Professor Wymore. So just one other way that Twitter is working to network me with other people, and it will work the same for you. What else was I going to share with you guys today? I have been pumping out quite a few retweets without commenting. I've been breaking my own rules. Sometimes I'm not in a situation where I can just type out a tweet and as I retweet. So I do send some out. I get quite a few at this point. I have so many that it's hard to keep up sometimes. So, but this guy, Bill Ferreter, he's had some really great reminders on online working for schools, and every school that, I shouldn't say every school, many of the schools that I'm going to right now. So I was just at Southeast Polk today, seeing Emily Ebling, and she was student teaching. They were on a hybrid model. So that means that half their kids were there and half their kids were at home. Plus, I shouldn't say half, it's broken down in half, but they also have a number of kids. I think they said there was 200 in their junior high building that are online all the time. Okay, and so they have one person that's supposed to be teaching them, but then they also have all these students that are there for 2 days and gone for 2 days. And so they have to still teach those students that are at home on those off days when they're not in the class, just like I'm providing stuff for you guys to do. They're having to do that as well. And unlike me, who's done this before, they are totally new to it. And so it's becoming quite a juggling act. And they have more students than I do. They have more than 25 students in a class that they're doing hybrid. So they might have, I think she said she had six sections, and you figure at least 25 students per section. So quite a few students that she has to provide for work when they're not in class. And so just a great reminder, something for you guys to think about, because you guys are going to be teachers someday, and you might have to do the same thing that teachers are doing right now. That says if your students are working from home, you have to rethink their assignments. Students working from home don't have the same supports, materials as students working in your classroom. They don't have peers to turn to, and they can't ask you clarifying questions. Okay, so just a good point. That was something I brought up to Oskaloosa when I talked to the middle school here last week about the possibility of them going to a hybrid situation, which middle school hasn't done yet, but the high school has. And it's just that idea of those students aren't there every day to come and talk to you before school or at lunch or stay after class. And so if they have questions, there's going to be a time period in between. And so you have to make sure that you're providing that information for them. So keep going with Twitter. If you didn't tweet this last week, you owe a couple. Look at that. Desiree's already tweeting right when we're in class. She's sitting at home. Okay. So, let's see. We had another person pass their plagiarism certification exam. Peyton got her certificate. All right. When's that due? All right. We're getting closer and closer, right? Each week we're getting a little bit closer. So if you haven't looked at that yet, make sure that you do so. You want to put some time into it so that you can get your certificate. That's worth some points. This week, I'm going to switch to my student role. So this week we have, it says creating a professional web page. So you'll be starting a web page this week. You'll actually get the whole base of it started today, and then due for next week will be at least one page of content that you're going to do. That's going to be part of your assignment. We're going to go through the tutorial today. We're going to look at my web page. That's actually the site where you're going to create your web page from. It's called Education Weebly. So Weebly is a site that you can create your own personal web pages for free. They have a specific one just for teachers. So the nice thing about this is it gives you some features that the general run-of-the-mill free site doesn't give you. One of which is you can have students create web pages that don't have to be public. So they still get the idea of creating it and what it's like to create a web page. You can use it like a spot to keep their assignments. You could do it to share their work, but the only people that's going to see it are going to be you and them. And I'm not sure if there's a way, I've never tried it yet, but there's a way to share it with parents without it being public. So that's Education Weebly. We're not going to worry about this improve your search with Google operators right now. We're going to leave that for later. Your assignment 4, which is creating your professional web page, and assignment 5 is adding resources to your web page. Okay. And then that attendance assignment, right, which is due tonight, which is the CRAP test. Okay, I'm going to talk about that real quick. If you haven't done this already, which I haven't looked to see who has and who hasn't, which I can't see because I'm in student mode right now. There's a video right here. Okay, the CCC online library is a free site for us to look at. This CRAP test for evaluating websites was created by Molly Beestrom. She talks about these things here to the right: currency, reliability, authority, and purpose or point of view. All of those are a part of what we call the CRAP test. Okay, has anybody ever heard of the CRAP test before? Some high schools still use it. It's just a way for evaluating information. This specifically talks about evaluating websites, but you could really use the CRAP test to evaluate other resources too that you might use in your class. So the video is short. I think it's like 5 minutes, 5:45. So you'll watch that. And then back on our webpage, there's this CRAP test rubric that goes along with it. And you can see those categories here to the right: currency, reliability, authority, purpose, relevancy, and appropriate. So these are 2 extra ones, right? So here's those first 4. And then this rubric you're going to use for your assignment 5. And I'll explain that here in a little bit. But these next 2, so you have currency, which is how up to date it is. Reliability, that's how good of the resource it is. Same thing with authority. Purpose, what is the reason for the web page in this case. Relevancy, so how relevant it is. And then the last one, appropriateness, that's a big one. Appropriateness, how many people in here are elementary teachers or going to be elementary teachers? Okay, so obviously material that is at a 4th or 5th grade level is not going to be the same as material that's at a 1st or 2nd grade level, especially on a reading level. When we're thinking about what students can read and access when they're online. And so that's what that appropriateness is referring to. And then our secondary people, same thing. Okay, you're just talking about older kids, but is it appropriate? You don't want to get college level material and try to apply it to your middle school students. They're just not going to be able to read it or comprehend it. So that's an important one to keep in mind. So we'll come back to this in a little bit, but that's your attendance assignment, is to watch that video and to look through this rubric. And then you're going to write a short 1 to 2 paragraph explanation of the importance of finding and sharing good resources for your parents and students. Okay, especially in this time of COVID-19, okay? Which I just hinted at when I talked about Twitter, if you guys caught that, okay? So we'll come back to those. Close that.
Okay, I'm going to show you how to get started using Weebly for Education. And it's very important that you sign up.
We're going to put a pause on that. So if you have a computer, get it out. If you don't, you can come back here. Thank you. You can get a Chromebook, and hopefully the Chromebooks are able to be used. Just fine with the light on. There's some that aren't, so yeah. And then hopefully those work. Oh, that's fine. As you get your computer, you can open up to the Moodle page, because we're going to be accessing at least one link right from the Moodle page. For those of you on Chromebooks, are they getting on the internet? Yeah. And once you pull up Moodle, you can just look up front here. We're going to watch. What's that? Nope. Nope. Did I tell you to go to Weebly.com? Bailey, did I tell you that? Huh? No, no. I said go to Moodle. Go to Moodle. If we got our phones out, let's put those away. We don't need phones right now. So just turn them over, put them away. We need to focus on what we're doing here in class. You can worry about your phones later. So from Moodle, okay, there's several things on here, right? We're not going to go to those yet. Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to open up another tab. And you're going to search for teacher web pages examples or teacher web pages Weebly. And we want to look at examples of teaching web pages. Which you might have to search for a little bit. They have images, which you can go through. You can go through if you want and pull up specific web pages through there. They have best teacher websites and time of remote learning, which this site has some examples. If you search further, specific schools might have some that are on there. This one says the 19 best teacher websites that help you be awesome. You can do Weebly teacher website examples. And they'll have examples. And I just want you to search for some teacher web pages to look at and see what they look like and what kind of information that they have on there for you. So you're searching on your own, random searches here. I used to have a link just to Weebly ones and it disappeared this term and I haven't been able to find another good one. So we're just doing random searches today, which is okay. Things to look for, things that are on the web page, the type of information, what is there that is available to you or to when you think about parents or students. And you can just keep a running tally in your head. You can write it down. We just want ideas or things that we can discuss and put up on the board here. And I'll pull up a couple of examples up here as well. Is everybody finding some to look at? At least one or two. We don't have to look at very many. It won't take us very long to discuss it. You are going to create a web page, yes, and I'll talk about all the pages that you'll need. That's part of today. So you just kind of want to see what's out there, what other teachers are doing, and then we'll kind of discuss it. Just another couple minutes, and then we'll share out. Let's talk here real quick. On let's see what I can do with my camera. Okay, so what are some things you found, Bailey?
I'm just like introducing who they are and what they like to do every time.
Right. Introduction. Okay, you guys are going to be creating a similar page. It's called a bio or about me page. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
A lot of their websites, like really, from what I've seen, appeal to kids, like very kid-friendly.
Okay. Yep. We'll talk specifically about some of these here a little bit, but obviously you're going to have contact information on yours as well. What are some other things that they have on their web pages?
There's their personality.
It definitely is, it's going to express their personality. Which you guys will be able to do. Bailey?
I saw some of classroom rules.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Classroom
Rules, yep.
So like schedule or special events.
Yep. I'm just going to put news for the events, but yep, schedule events.
There was like some for like, you could tell those more for parents because it said like your children are going to be expected to do 30 minutes of homework every night.
Right. So, right. So it's for both though, right? But your web page will be for both as well. And you'd be surprised, even if you're thinking lower elementary, those lower elementary kids, they can click and find things on a web page. They're going to be able to understand how to use that stuff. Kids these days have access to a lot of things. And you'd be surprised, like when you get kids at school and you give them a computer and they start touching the screen, even though it might not be a touch screen, but they're used to tablets and phones and being able to do all those things. And if they can't, then you just have to teach them the right way on what they need to do. What else did we see on there? Anything else specific that you want to talk about? Okay. Gonna erase those. We'll go back to the screen. I'll share a couple. And we'll look at some good examples, and we'll look at least one bad example. Okay. So the example I'm pulling up is a 3rd grade example. It's from Elkins School District. I don't know where Elkins is at. The nice thing about these two that I'm going to show you right now, they're integrated right into the school's, the district's webpage. So in addition to the teachers' information that they have on there, you can still access all the district information with links up above. So that's pretty handy. This teacher has a lot of stuff, right? So that talks about her. She has her lessons, her schedule, what she's doing in each of those blocks. She has her standards on there. She's got checklists, so resources for people, what they're going to do for inside recess. They have grading information. So she's got a lot. She's got a lot of stuff on there. I'm going to recommend not creating a list that's quite that long, okay? You want stuff to be that's going to be easily accessible for parents and students. So quick access. Parents these days don't want to scroll through a bunch of information. They want to be able to get to it really quick. So she's got her pages down here. There's a school calendar up there, right? And this is a fairly simplistic web page with these graphics and things that are on there, okay? Here's another one. This is actually a middle school science teacher. So here's her pages. And this is the Dale Public Schools. And she has an e-notes notification. I don't know what e-notes are. Do you guys know what e-notes are? Never use those. Lesson plans. So you can actually, we can look and see what are they doing in 7th grade science today, September 10th. And she's got a plan book attachment that we can go in and see, which is kind of amazing. So we can see what she was teaching today, right in her class. So for parents, that's pretty handy, especially if your child is gone, especially if you have a student that's quarantined and you have this information right available for parents and students. That's awesome. This one is PE. It's elementary PE. And this is a different style of page. This is what you would call a blog type web page. So this person, as they type or write, will have all of these different dates, this blog roll. So if we want to see what happened in week 5 in April, we can click on that and it's going to tell us what information that he had posted during that time. He's got links over here on the side. He's got projector ideas. He's got remote learning. So PE at home, because in April, everybody was at home really, right? So just a great way to stay in contact with students and parents. You'll be able to do a blog type page if you want, and I'll talk specifically about each page here in a few minutes, okay? I want to show you one more. Okay, and I don't mean to pick on Eddyville, Blakesford, Fremont, but this is their webpage, okay? And I do know the person that created this webpage was not like a web designer, or that wasn't really their job per se, but I want you to think about this webpage. I want you to think about being a parent or a student going to this webpage. How easy do you think it's going to be to find information that you need to find in a page like this? Not very easy, right? It's kind of overwhelming, the number of things and links that they have on the page. Like I said, you don't want to create a situation where a parent is scrolling and looking for information. They're going to get bored, or they're going to lose interest, and they're just going to leave and try to find it another way, or just forget it altogether. Look at this. That is their directory, okay? Every person, but they're not organized by building. You can't organize them by building. They don't tell you that Laura Aller is a I think she's a 3rd grade teacher now, 2nd grade teacher now maybe. She was a kindergarten teacher, but it doesn't tell you what role they play in any of the buildings. They could be the building secretary, they could be a teacher, they could be an administrator. You don't know because of how things are listed on this page. So just keep those things in mind. When you're creating your page, we want to create things that are simple and easy to follow for parents, right? Because that way, and students alike, so that they can go there, find the information that they need, and utilize it. If they have to spend too much time searching and wondering what's going on, it's just not going to work, okay? So like I said, not picking on Eddyville, but their web pages always blows my mind. So back to Moodle. I want you to open the site that says Education Weebly. And it should look something like this. Okay, everybody there? Okay, I'm going to play this video. This video is by a gentleman by the name of Greg Sherman. He does a lot of different tech and education YouTube videos, so he's pretty great.
I'm going to show you how to get started using Weebly for education, and it's very important that you sign up as a teacher to get a free education account, as opposed to just the regular free account that won't allow you to create more than 5 pages. And so here we go. I'm on the Weebly for Education website. That address is education.weebly.com. And I'm going to fill out the Get Started Now field right now. Here I go. I'm going to give myself a username. Sherman37.
And you don't have to do this. I tell everyone, use the same username and password as you do for your pen account. It just makes it simpler to remember right now. You're welcome to use something else if you want. It's up to you. You can use your own personal one, but just make sure that it's something that you won't forget. If you have a regular Gmail account and Gmail password that you're going to remember all the time, go ahead and use that one as well. Okay. As far as your username's not going to matter that much right now. It's not going to be shown anywhere. It's really just for you to access the web page. Okay.
Give myself a password and sign up with an email account. You just use your Radford account if you want. If you don't already have a Weebly account. No. Okay. I accept all the terms and services. I'll read them later. Kidding, of course. I tried it.
Okay, so everybody got that far? Do you have a page that looks something like this? Okay, it's going to ask for a school name. You can just put William Penn. Okay.
Skip this step when I did a test run, and it wouldn't let me. So I'm going to go ahead and just fill this part out. As far as school name goes, you can put whatever you want. I will just put the word Radford. You don't have to fill out school district. And I will just submit that field. And then when you get to this screen, go ahead and click on the Create a Website button.
Okay. How we doing? All right. If you want to use your home state and stuff, that's fine too. You don't have to use Iowa. It's all right. Is it asking you guys to choose a template yet? Okay.
Button, just like that.
This is a little bit, some of it may be a little different. This tutorial's a few years old.
I'm going to have it be just the site on the left. I clicked on that. And then you come to the choose a theme options. And I recommend to start with selecting a real simple theme. You can change all of this later once you get your feet wet working with Weebly. And so you're going to see some really fun themes. Some of them are going to be too busy for you to be able to work with. I do encourage you though to be as creative as possible. I am going to, I think I'll pick this one with the big picture here. I can imagine something dramatic for me, maybe climbing a mountain or something. And you can pick what color buttons and menu options you want for your site. I'll pick that kind of dusty blue. So I'll choose.
So like you said, you can change that later. So if you select one and you get in there and you start to build it and then you look at it after you published it and you're like, oh, that isn't really what I wanted. You're welcome to go back in there and change your theme. It will take all your information that you've already entered into that web page and it will just adjust it for the new theme. So most things will come through real smoothly. There may be a few things that don't, depending on what you've done personally to make it your own, but all the information that's there will transfer over if you change themes.
Use that, and then you are started to set up your site. When you get to this screen where it says choose your website domain, unless you want to pay for your own domain, your own web domain, go ahead and use the first option, which is to use a subdomain of Weebly. And this is where you just need to type in a unique name for the first part of your web address. And it should probably have something with your name in it.
Mine is just my name. Okay. A lot of people will use, like you did, first initial, last name, and maybe a number. You don't have to do that. But something that's going to identify you so that parents and students will know that if I go to robbean.weebly.com, I'm going to, Teacher Bean's, Mr. Bean's webpage, right? And so you want it something, you don't want it to be Wildcat 74629 or something, some nickname that you have. Because you want it to identify you. This is your professional web page. You are branding yourself, so you should brand it with an identifier that people are going to know from you. Okay.
I'll just type in G Sherman 2, and that's available. And this could be anything that you want it to be, as long as it's available. Click on continue.
Welcome to Weebly, a surprisingly easy way to make a high-quality website.
Welcome to the
blog, or online store.
Because I already know my way around Weebly. Listen to me. So here you are in the Weebly interface, and from this point on, you're going to create pages and get to know how to edit the Weebly pages and to publish them. I'm just going to show you a couple of quick things about creating pages, and then.
So he's going to show you a couple things, and then I'm going to take you through some specifics to help you out. Okay. So if you get a little bit lost here, don't worry. I'm going to take you through some specific things here shortly.
The rest you can learn on your own, just playing with the software and reading all the help files. So I'm going to click on pages, and this gives me a list of all the pages over here on the left that I already have in my site. And by the way, I'm going to delete the contact page because I don't need that built in. And I'm also going to delete the about page because I need to create a new one of these. So I'm going to delete that page. So now all I have is my home page, and it's selected as the landing page. And I'm going to keep it that way. But I'm going to add a new page by just clicking on the add page button, and I'll click a standard page. And I know that one of the first pages I need for this course is going to be called About Me. And I like to have no headers on any of the sub pages that you're going to be creating. The headers just take up too much real estate on your website.
And that's very true. I'm going to recommend the same thing. I can't control what you do with your own professional web page, but especially if you use the tall header, when people go to your page, like 3/4 of your page or more is taken up by this header, which is just like an image. So any information or anything that you add to that web page, they're going to have to scroll down to even find. So if they click on contact and they're expecting to see some contact information, they're going to see this giant image instead. Then they're going to have to scroll down to where your information is at. So I recommend no header. Some people will use short headers. I still, like I said, I think I like things a little bit more simpler. You can still add photos and things like the way this looks and the way this looks after. So you can add personalization things like images or photos later without having it be a header or a short header.
So I have my About Me page, and I'm going to keep that one. I'm also going to add a page. I know that one of the pages I need to add for this site is called Instruction. I'm going to type in the word instruction as my
You guys don't need to do that, obviously.
There it is. And again, no header on that. And actually, you're going to create some menu pages, but that are going to become submenus, or when you mouse over them, there'll be pop-up menus, and you're going to have to create quite a few project pages under instruction. So I'm just going to show you how to do that real fast. I'm going to create another page, a standard page, and I'm going to call this, for now, I'll just call this project number 1. And these all have titles that you'll give it. You'll learn more about that. And that's also going to have no header. And one of the things that you do in order to make project 1 be a submenu under your instruction category of project pages is you just mouse over it and click and drag it to the right until it's indented. So now I'm going to.
I'll show you how to do that later too.
Save and edit this page. And again, I'm getting these help tags because I'm starting to use this for the first time. So I'm going to click on that, and you'll notice now when I mouse over my menu or I click on it and I go to the word instruction, there's my project number 1 page. And I'm just going to be on the build section here, and you're going to learn how to use these different areas to build your pages. If you need help, there's a help button up here. And one last thing I want to show you before I end this getting started video is in order for me to be able to see the changes you make on your site, you have to publish every time that you want for your changes to be made public. So I'm clicking on the publish button and just keep the default top one always selected. I'm going to click continue. It wants me to categorize my website. You only have to do this once, and I'll pick education, and I'll click teacher, and then I'll say don't ask me again. I'm gonna submit that, and then here's one thing that you have to be aware of. They're trying to sell you on this screen. They're trying to sell you on buying a subdomain here, but this is just, you don't have to worry about any of this stuff down here. Your website has been published, and here it is up here. So you click on this link in order to view it up here. Don't worry about anything else down here, just that link right there, and that shows you the website. And as you can see, click on the menu, click on instruction, there's project number 1, and that's where my project number 1 page will be created. So that's it. It's as simple as that. I hope you find it as easy to use as other basic web development tools. And you'll be learning a little bit more about what you need to do throughout.
So that is very true. It's really pretty easy to use. I'll show you how to do some things here in a second. This is my page. I told the last class I need to update this because these two are a 7th grader and a freshman now, so they're quite a bit larger than that. But this is what a landing page could look like. It's up to you. This is just images that I have, obviously, of my family. It shows a little bit about me and my personality. You are going to have a bio or landing or about me page. Okay. I chose to do a quote and a photo, and then I have my bio that I use, the same thing that I have on Moodle. And then my CV's on there too. This is like a resume. So that'll be up to you whether you guys want to add those or not. Okay. You will have a contact page that you'll create. What's really cool is this section here it's just a little module. You're just going to drag it over in the build, and I'll show you how to do that here before we get out of here today. You just drag it over and plop it on your page, and boom, this information is there. And then what you can do is you can add the description, you can add the title. What happens then is someone's going to put their name in here, they'll put their email, and then, yep, that's fine. And then they're going to put their comment, and then when they hit submit, it goes right to your email. So you don't even have to list your email on there. It's really nice. So they just fill out the form, hit submit, that comes right to your email. And it'll be set up for the email that you entered when you made your web page as your profile, but you can also change that if you want it to go to another email address, okay? You can add your own buttons and links. So I have these that go to my Twitter profile, my LinkedIn profile. Oh, I haven't had asked me that. I might have to check that out and make sure that's right. And then I have an email link as well, which would ask you to use whatever email site that you're using, okay? So home, bio, contact, you're gonna have all three of those, okay? My resources page looks a little different than what yours will, okay? Mine just says technology use, since all of my links right now are all in reference to using technology or teaching online. Yours are gonna have a little bit longer descriptions than what mine does. I'm gonna ask you to come up with your own descriptions, something similar to like what I have down here. So this is a video, Keys to Online Hybrid and Blended Learning. And it says this video covers the essential concepts of developing an engaging online experience, okay? You'll come up with your own titles for your resources, and I'll talk specifically about that here in a minute when I talk about your assignment. But you're gonna have a resources page, okay? That's gonna have links on it. And I'll give you the details on that here shortly. This WebQuest page that I have on mine, this WebQuest is actually an assignment that you guys are going to do here in a couple of weeks. That's your 5th page. That's a part of your web page, or website, I should say, this WebQuest that you'll do later. And then sometime this term, you're going to create one more page, and that'll be up to you. You can do like a blog, like news type page that might have events. Some people have put calendars on there. Some people have chosen to put their resume right on there. Some have used their extra page as something to put an assignment link on there, and I'll show you how to do that as well. But it's really pretty simple to create these, and I'll show you how to do that here. So my webpage is on there as well. It says Mr. Beans Weebly. You can go there and check it out and see what it looks like. Oops. So I've signed in. I'm on Weebly for Education. I have a few sites. I'm going to go to this one, which is actually just one that I use to show examples of things on. First, I'm going to go to Pages. So he talked about being able to drag those over and create little sub lists. If you remember from my page, here's that sub list or sub link there. I hover over that, then it shows those other two. From here, to do that, all you're going to do is press the button and hold it and drag it over till it's indented. And then you can actually do that even further. So now I have this, it's going to give me this sub list, which is going to give me this sub list. So however you want to look at that and do that for your pages is up to you, okay? So maybe you're going to have a resources link, and then you're going to have parents and students. It might be how you want to do it. It's up to you. But those are really easy to do. Like I said, you just drag them over. If I want them to be at the same level, I put them at the same indent over there. And now they're just 2 drop-down menus, okay? The build section is where you're going to spend most of your time. And the great thing about this is all these basic modules, all you have to do is drag them over. So if I want to add some text to my page, I can drag this over here. You see there's a thin blue line there. Wherever that line is to the side of where that text is going to appear. So if I want it to be the right of that button, I can put it here, and it's going to put my text box right to the right of it, okay? Then all I need to do is click on it, and I can type. It's got bold, italic, underline. I can change the size. I can change the color of the font. I can add a link. I can do a center alignment. I can do bulleted numbers, and then I can remove the formatting is on there, okay? All of these operate that way. So if I want to add a title to my section over here, where's that blue line? I put it at the top, and then there's my title. And I click on that, and I can type whatever I want, okay? So all of these operate that way. This, where it says, please share your info below, is the, should have brought my glasses with me today, contact form, okay? Drag it over, put it on there, and it puts the information. Then all I have to do is click it to edit it. I can put a title on there, okay? If I want to add some text to that, like mine has on it, drag that over, and now that I have the opportunity to add some text, okay? And I hit save, and now my information is on there, okay? So each of these basic ones you have access to. A title obviously is the title, text is text, an image would be a picture, a gallery is like the images that I have on my homepage, my landing page. A slideshow operates like, let me show you. So that should be automatic. So you can see how those are sliding through, right? You can do it automatic like that. We can come up here and we can click through and look through them in order, okay? It's really easy. You're gonna drag the slideshow over here, and then it's gonna ask you to click on it to upload images, and you just click on it. You can drag them right in from your computer, whatever you wanna put on there. A map is like on my page, my contact page, I have a map, okay? Oops. Buttons are buttons. You can put links to your buttons. So you can put a button on there, click on it, and you can actually add a link. And so when they push the button, it goes to a particular web page. An assignment form would be something that they fill out to add an assignment, which you can do later if you want. They have to put their name and email, and then they just choose a file. Once again, when they do this, that'll go right to your email address that you have entered for that. Newsletter form. You can put out there as well if you want. You probably won't need it for this information right now, but maybe later. You shouldn't need the embed code, at least not right now, but I can show you how to use that later. A divider is just a line, and it puts it in there. You can put them vertically as well. You can do spaces as well. If I want to put a space somewhere, it just adds extra room inside there. These media files down here, you won't have HD video, you won't have audio, okay, because you don't have the pro account. You can add this, what's called a scribd document, and what that does is it puts like a PDF right in your web page so that other people can see it and download it actually. Or you could have just a file, and you can add that file in there, and then if it was like your resume, they could click on it and it would download it right to their computer, okay? You won't use these e-commerce ones. You won't use these most likely, although you could use the RSVP form. You could use the social icons if you want, and possibly even the survey. I'm not sure if that's on a pro account or not, okay? So let's look at questions on that right now. Yeah, Bailey? Great question. Generally, yes, it's going to be saved on here, okay? But for me to see it or for other people to see it, what you need to do and what I recommend to everybody is as you make changes, go up here to the right where it says publish, hit publish. And this is where he said, you know, it's going to ask you to do these things. You don't need to do those. Just click on, if you click on this, then it will take you to your web page and show you what it looks like. So you can see all those changes that I made on there just today are on here in the space and et cetera, okay? So I recommend to do that, is to publish it as you make some changes, and that way you're sure that it's gonna be there for you, okay? Great question. Other questions? Okay, I'm gonna describe what I'm gonna ask of you for this next week. So you can see on here, there's assignment 4, it says professional web page. Assignment 5, adding resources to your web page. And then that attendance assignment, which I've already gone through the attendance assignment. So we're going to talk about number 4 and number 5. Number 4 says professional web page. It says you'll be creating your professional web page. I'm okay if, for this week anyway, if you don't fill these top 3 with information, as long as you have the pages there. They can be blank. Your home or landing page could be blank. your bio could be blank for now, and your contact page could be blank for now. But I want them created so that if I go and look at that by next Thursday, if I go in there and I look up Bailey's webpage, I'm going to see that she has a home page, a bio page, a contact page, and then this resources page, which I'm going to talk about separate here, okay? And if I know you have all 4 of those, I understand that you have done assignment 4 for me, at least right now, okay? We'll add that information later, okay? And what you're going to do is you're going to create that web page, and then you are going to share that link. So for me, my link to my web page is this, right? Okay. Don't share it from the education.weebly.com site, because you're going to send me to the education.weebly.com editor. You're not going to send me to your web page. Publish your web page, click on it, and open it up so you can see it, and then share the link that's at the top. Okay. It should be whatever you decided to have for your URL.weebly.com. Okay. So that's assignment 1. Okay. I don't think this works. Yep. I got to change that. That's a mistake on my part. I need to change those examples, which you've already looked at some examples today, so we don't need to worry about it. These assignments are the same ones that I use for my DL class, and so that's why some of them seem like they're a little bit different. This one takes a little bit more time. This is what's the majority of your time is going to be focused on, at least for this week. You are going to create a resources page. It says you'll be adding a page of resources for your parents, students to access from your web page. You should already have a resource page added to your web page, which I told you you're going to need all 4, right, for assignment 4. So you're only going to need to add your resources to it. They can be anything classroom or education related. But what I want you to think about is, so Dylan's a PE teacher. He needs to have PE health related sites, most likely, right? But it's pretty broad then. He could talk about nutrition. He could talk about weightlifting. He could talk about, meal planning. There's lots of different things that he could put on there for his students and for his parents. They can also be education related. So maybe it's a link to the page that has the standards that you are following. So if you're an elementary teacher and you're planning on being a 4th grade teacher, you could link to the state standards for 4th grade for your parents. Maybe not for your students. They're probably not going to go through and look at those standards, but your parents might, right? They can be game sites. So I always think about, there's a lot of math game sites that you can go to in the elementary. Those are fine. Just don't give me all game sites. Okay? Think about providing a variety of things. So people have trouble with this, and I don't understand why. But here's our requirements. Number 1, must have at least 5 resources for your parents. Number 2, must have at least 10 resources for your students. Then what does number 3 say? 20 total resources. So if I stop at 5 resources for my parents and 10 for my students, am I meeting the requirements? No, because you're still missing 5 more resources, okay? Those extra 5 resources can be distributed amongst, you could have 8 for my parents and 12 for my students. You could have 15 for your students and 5 for your parents. I don't care what the combination is, but you need to meet each one of those steps, okay? Number 4, each link should also include a very brief description of what the student or parent will find there. This cannot be a direct copy of the description from the site itself. So don't go to Flipgrid and copy their description and put it on there. I want the description to come from you, okay? Each link should have what I call a CRAP score, right? And so I showed you that attendance assignment of what the CRAP test was, and I showed you the rubric, right? So this is worth, we have 6 categories, 5 points. We've got 30 points total, okay? So on your web page, just a simple 25 out of 30. Or you could say this site scored 25 out of 30. You don't really want to say this site scored 25 out of 30 on the CRAP test, because they're probably not going to know what the CRAP test is, and that doesn't look very professional. Even though it's a good thing, you don't want to have to explain what the CRAP test is in addition to providing this information for them. So just put the score, a simple, you could do 25 stars out of 30 if you want. People have done it that way before too, okay? And then the last thing says, be sure to add a link to this forum that takes us to your page. Do not simply list the URL. So I say use the chain button on the editor above and be sure to click the box that says open in a new window. Okay, when I go here, add a new discussion topic. I want to add my web page. I copy it. And I'll paste it. Oops. I was going to paste it. I can highlight that then. Click this, which looks like a chain, right? It says enter URL. I can put my URL in there again. Click open a new window. Hit create link. Now my text is linked. Okay. But here's a trick question for you. Is this link right here a link to my resources page? This takes me where? To my home page, right? So don't give me that. If I was doing it for mine, since I really don't have a one that's called resources, I would use this one. So I'd copy that one and I would paste that one here. Highlight it, link it. So now when someone goes to this, so I can say open link in new tab, it should take me to my resources page. Okay, does that make sense? This video that's on the resources assignment says link to YouTube video describing how to add a link to your Weebly page. So if you're having trouble figuring out how to do that, this video will help you to do so. It will also talk about adding buttons. So if you don't want to have a URL listed on your page, which looks kind of clunky, because you don't have to, when you're providing a link like that, let me show you. I could do it this way too. Resources, highlight, link, put my address in there, and now all it says is resources instead of the full URL. Because some of the URLs that you guys are going to find are going to be like super long, and it looks really clunky to have the really long URL and then a description and then a score. So if you just have resources and then I say this page provides resources to technology tools. This page scored 25 out of 30. Pretty simple, right? So you can also do those as buttons if you want, if you don't want to have a name like that. So it's up to you. Be as creative as you like. Okay, so 3 things. This has to be done by tonight, which says watch the video, look at the rubric, and then just write a short 1 to 2 paragraph explanation of the importance of finding and sharing good resources for your parents and students, especially today. You can actually refer back to my Twitter and look at something that I retweeted that might help you with that, okay? Assignment 4, you need to have these 4 things in place. Assignment 5 is providing your information on your resources page and having them linked and having a score and a description. Okay, so this is all due by when? Class time on Thursday next week. Okay, so you have a full week. Questions? If you have trouble, let me know. Okay, we sometimes hit snags with Weebly. There are other website generators or editors, but Weebly's been really the most consistent for me and one of the easiest for me to teach to people that don't have HTML knowledge or things on like that. Okay, there are others like Wix is another one. Wix and Weebly are really pretty close, but we use Weebly. So if you don't have any questions, you're welcome to head out. Have a good weekend. Thank you.